Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be going over how to change the valve covers on my M113 engine in my CLK55. So first step, obviously I'm going to go ahead and disconnect my drip charger right here. So once that guy is disconnected, I'm going to go ahead and take my front cover off. It simply snaps off at the corners and you can pull it out. Next, got the intake tubes. These come out relatively easy. Pop those guys out, and they pull out just like that. And lastly, we have the air box. It is held on by a little bracket right there, and two in the rear. This guy comes out just as easily. Pop her out, and that is it. Now you have access to the unobstructed view of the engine, and we can go ahead and tackle the valve covers. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the driver's side, as this side's a little more difficult because we will have some clearance issues with this gas line to the fuel rail. I may take it out, I may not, I'll see. But first thing to do on this guy is you're going to want to disconnect all your coil packs. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So these guys are a bit busted. Be careful, they may snap and break, as mine are all pretty clapped, and I just broke one of the clips. All good, as long as they hold and seat in correctly. So once that guy is disconnected, I'm going to go ahead and take all of these coils out. So these coils are going to be held in with a T30 Torx bit. So once those guys are loose, I like to take a magnet and just pull the screws so you don't lose them. And now we're just gonna take these guys out and kind of put them aside, and I will give you guys a close-up view of where our specific screws and bolts are going to be. So this guy, of course, is going to be an E10 socket for these bolts. So here's a little bit of a diagram to help better visualize the bolt layout. These little guys are going to be to actually disconnect the breather cover itself, and the big Torx bits are going to be the ones that take off the whole valve cover. So finally got all the bolts out. I did have to break out the old mechanical ratchet just so I would have a little more pivot. You will need to move around the coil packs to get clearance. It's not too bad. So next I need to take out two of the breather covers, breather cover hoses. I'm going to go ahead and use this like trim clip removal tool. The two breather cover hoses are going to be this guy right here and this guy right here. So you definitely want to be careful with these guys. I can see this one's already cracked, and this guy is cracked as well. Unfortunately, I will not be replacing them as I am putting a new engine in this car, but be wary of that. I may replace that. That is bad. Well, that little chunk just came out. All good. I'll go ahead and call Mercedes then. See if I can't get replaced. For the meanwhile, that guy is come right out. So now, once these two breather cover hoses are off, she should be all loose. I'm going to try to pull it out this way so that I can clear this gas line right here. I think that's possible. So let's see. I do not think so, actually. So I'm going to have to take that guy off. No worries. So to make clearance to remove the valve cover, I'm going to go ahead and release this fuel line right here. It's going to be a 17 millimeter wrench. So I have a rag here just in case there is fuel. Probably going to be, let's see. Looks like there's going to be quite a lot. All good. Go ahead and put this guy right up here. So I'm going to assume that this whole fuel rail is full, and that's what's coming out. Now that that guy is plugged up and we have our clearance, I'm going to go ahead and take off our valve cover. Sweet, clean, healthy looking engine. So now once we have our valve cover all clean and all the seals are good to go, I'm going to go ahead and install my OEM gasket. There's the part number. Again, I will link the part number in the description as well. So I'm going to go ahead and clean the surface mating area with a blue rag and possibly some brake clean so that the gasket seats correctly. Now that the gasket is back on, I'm going to go ahead and attempt to put it on in one manner so that it does not fall off. Side's a little more tricky. There. And we are on. So now I'm going to go in reverse order, put all the bolts down, and go from there. So now that I have all of my bolts hand tightened, I'm going to tighten them down to 88 inch-pounds or 7.7 foot-pounds or the recommended 10 Newton meters. But since the only thing I have for that small of a measurement is going to be my inch-pound click wrench torque wrench, I'm going to go ahead and tighten them down to 88 inch-pounds. So now that all the bolts are torqued in to the torque spec, I'm going to go ahead and reattach all the coil packs. So now starting on the passenger side, it's going to be pretty much the same concept as we had on the driver's side, though thankfully we have a lot more clearance here. So I'm going to start by unplugging all of the coil packs as I did there. Now I'm going to get my E10 torque spit and remove all of my coil packs. Apologies, I meant my T30 torque spit right over there. So now same concept. I'm going to go ahead and take off all 11 bolts holding in the valve cover, and it is going to be done with an E10. So now once I have all of my valve cover bolts in a little cardboard section where I can track them, I'm going to go ahead and take out that breather cover hose right there. Hopefully it doesn't crack like the other one. So now that I have my valve cover off, I'm just going to take like a blue rag to wipe down the surface and make sure there's a nice clean mating surface before I put the new valve cover on. So now once the valve cover gasket seating area is clean, I'm going to go ahead and work on cleaning the inside of this. It looks pretty clean, but just want to have it nice and refreshed for the next oil change. So now that the gasket seat is all clean, I'm going to go ahead and install the gasket. Here's the part number. I'm going to go ahead and link it in the description as well. Always go with OEM parts, OEM gaskets, sensors, whatever. They always fit the best, work the best. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out and install it now. So now that the gasket is all seated and pushed in its respective crevices, I'm going to go ahead and place it back on my head. So something to be wary of when putting the gasket back on is it can slip. So make sure to put it on correctly and directly so that it does not, right there, so it does not slip, and I am good right there. So I'm going to reconnect my breather hose, and then I'm going to get all my bolts back on. So it's essentially going to be the same process as it was before, but now just in reverse. So I'm going to go ahead and take my bolts right here and reattach them. So these valve cover bolts are going to be needed to be torqued down to 10 Newton meters of torque, and that equates to about 7.8 foot-pounds, but unfortunately none of my torque wrenches, my larger ones, can go down that small, so I'm using my 1/4 inch little clip type, and the conversion from 10 Newton meters is going to be approximately 88 inch-pounds. So I'm going to go ahead and torque them all down. So now all of them are going to be torqued down to spec. Torque them in a star pattern, starting there, going back and forth. And those are all torqued down now. So now I'm going to get my coil packs and get them back and screwed and torqued in. So on the forums it says that the coil packs are around 7 Newton meters, but I'm just going to tighten them to the same torque that I tightened these guys to, and they should be fine. After I torque these guys down, I'm going to go ahead and plug in all my wires, and then we should be done for the passenger side. And there we go. Everything is back together. If you made it to the end of this video, I want to thank you for watching. I want to make 2 notes as well. In my installation of the valve cover gaskets, I did not take out my coil packs. Though if you would like to, you can use a 17mm socket to pop them out, and you will have more clearance then. But I've done this job quite a few times, so I was able to work around having the coil pack still in the car. One more thing to note, during this process it's also recommended to do your breather cover seals on top of the valve cover gaskets, though as mine weren't leaking and it's kind of a pain to do it, I just let them be. Though I will be making a video on how to paint valve cover gaskets, and in that video I will show you guys how to take off the breather covers and reseal them. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day.